Hey, how's it going, guys? My name's Jonah and welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be doing a Q&A for ToastyBros and just my personal self. In the ToastyBros Discord, I asked you guys what questions you would like to ask me, or if you have any questions about the channel, people in the channel, and personal questions just about me and how I got here. So I got about 12 or 13 questions to ask you guys. So strap in. There's some good ones, there's some not so good ones, but we're gonna go over all of them. So we're gonna jump right into it. All right, so starting with the first question, and this is probably a question we get asked so many times, and I cannot tell you guys how many times we're gonna say no. But the first question comes from Peaceful Billa, and this question says, I'm texting to every ToastyBros, can you please build me a PC? I've been playing on an iMac since 2011 and it sucks. No, unfortunately, we cannot build PCs for everyone and just give them away. Now, on the contrary, we do give away a PC every single month, but we don't actually just build them for free and then hand them out because, you know, you have an old system. If we gave away one PC to someone, then we'd have to give away to everyone. And the only way that we can do that fairly while still giving a PC away is through our monthly giveaways. So on twitch.tv/ToastyBros and build up that currency and then enter those free giveaways if you wanted to, you know, get a PC for free. Question number 2 comes from GK Squid. Have the bros done anything on uninstalling and installing clean drivers? Been having some issues and hesitant to try DDU. Honestly, we don't really run into many issues when it comes to drivers or anything like that, PC related, at least on our side. Now, PC Bros might be a little different, but usually what we'll do on any of our PCs, if we're having like major issues, usually we just start with like a fresh Windows install. You never know what all in the background can be piled up on your PC, causing it to have issues with drivers or just weird errors that are like in the background causing some issues. So you can definitely try uninstalling or reinstalling drivers. There was at one point here on my personal computer here at work that I was having some driver issues. I actually installed studio drivers and it was really being weird with Premiere Pro. But after a while, it just kind of went away on its own. Aside from that, we probably just done a fresh Windows install. So hope that helps you out. Question number 3 comes from Shadow the Gamer. And he says, hey, question, when did you start building PCs and how long did it take you to get it right? Now, honestly, I built a PC with some help of my brother a couple years ago, actually back in like right around 2020. That was my first PC I ever built. Everything went right. So, I mean, I guess I got it right that first time, but I did have like a template PC, if you will. He also built a PC and I kind of went off that on where to plug things in and do all that stuff. So I kind of have like a little cheat sheet to get my first PC right. But I only really started building computers about a couple months into working here at ToastyBros and PC Bros. Overall, I knew the process of it. I could actually, you know, tell you step by step how to do it, but actually performing it is another problem too. So I understood how to build a PC for years now, but you know, it just takes practice doing it over and over again, and you know, making sure that you take things step by step and take your time with it. So for working here, it took me about 1 or 2 PCs to like really get it down and like be comfortable building my PCs. So if you're watching build guides and, you know, taking your time with your first PC build, you should get it right the first time. Question number 4 is a much more simple question. It's from Just the King, and he says, do you like trains? Because I like trains. And yes. Insert the I like trains meme. Question number 5 comes from Not Willy Wonka. He says, is the main thing the ToastyBros channel or PC Bros? So if you didn't know, which is I'm assuming why you're asking, ToastyBros was started over like around 10 years ago. So they've been around for quite a long time. And PC Bros was started around 3 to 4 years ago. So PC Bros is definitely the subsidiary company of ToastyBros, if you can call it that. It's kind of like, it feeds off of the main channel ToastyBros, and that's kind of how everything started. So first, before PC Bros, we actually had just Jackson like listing PCs on Facebook Marketplace that you know, they built and they didn't have a use for. So it ended up turning into a thing where a bunch of people had demand for it, and so he's like, why not just make a business out of it? So that's kind of how PC Bros started. It wouldn't have been able to happen without ToastyBros, because especially at the beginning, you know, there's a lot of connections you have to make, and there's a presence you have to have online to get that thing going. So definitely started from ToastyBros and then moved into PC Bros. It's a really cool dynamic, and it's a really good system that we have going on for right now. Question number 6 comes from Concerned Roulette. I think I might have said that right. Hi, Jonah, the incredible Xander here. Hey Xander, appreciate you watching. My question is air cooling or liquid cooling? Now, this is a good one, but personally, I am fully on the liquid cooling side. One, because liquid cooling comes in at all price points. So even going up to 360 mil, like you can plan builds and build PCs with, you know, 240 mil liquid coolers, 360 mil liquid coolers, and sometimes you're only spending like 70, 80 bucks on that liquid cooler. So realistically, I think they usually do a better job when it comes to cooling higher end CPUs. And additionally, I mean, the price difference, you know, especially on those higher end units, they aren't that crazy. Now, if you're gonna go with like a, you know, Corsair H150i Elite Capellix, those big liquid coolers with all the cool fancy features and stuff like that, those are really expensive. And unless you have like a budget for aesthetics, I wouldn't recommend them. But I mean, even on, you know, your more budget builds, I think you can get away with a liquid cooler. It all really comes down to the CPU you choose at the end of the day too. For my builds that I plan at PC Bros, I don't really use liquid coolers if the build's gonna cost under $1,000. Mainly because I want my price price to performance be a little better. So anything past $1,000, I always want to put a liquid cooler on, usually because the CPUs that I'm buying, like the Ryzen 5 7600X, doesn't come with a stock cooler. So at that point, I have the option to go ahead and just spend a couple extra bucks on the cooler. And at that point, I'm going liquid. One, because the aesthetics are there. Two, because the price difference isn't too big on those, more entry-level liquid coolers that still do really good. All right, question number 7, I think. This comes from VLXFY, and he said, the question I have for the Q&A is, can you ask Toasty Bros if they can give me a free PC? I'll be waiting for the response. Like I mentioned on the very first question, we're not going to give away a PC to you specifically, but you can definitely win one at our Twitch stream. We do it one every single month, and usually those giveaway PC prices are around like $600 to $700 most of the time, so you can get a really good PC for a really good price, which is free. All right, question number 8 comes from Bolt, and he says, I want to ask a few things for the ToastyBros videos. These are more laptop oriented than desktop oriented. What's your guys' opinion on laptops with discrete graphics, i.e. the gaming quality on non-gamer laptops? I really actually like it. So I think my favorite laptop that we have reviewed recently are the Lenovo ThinkPad gaming ones, which they kind of look like, more like of a sleek, basic laptop that has, a nice screen, good refresh rate, but it'll usually have like a gamer-oriented graphics card in there. They kind of like dual purpose it with some gaming in mind. So, I mean, honestly, the gamer laptops that you're gonna be buying that are really oriented for gaming, and at that price point that you're spending for that premium of going to a gamer laptop, you could really just build a gaming PC, like a mini ITX one, and get way more performance. And that just really doesn't make sense to me. So, which I think actually brings it into your next question, which is it cheaper to buy a laptop on discount and then upgrade the specs if it's applicable down the road? 100%. You save a ton of money if you buy a laptop that has an upgrade path, because you don't really see most consumers, taking off that back plate and then adding in more RAM, adding in another SSD. So if you can get a laptop that has the ability to do that really easily and save the money up front, or they're going to charge you a premium to have them do it, beforehand, 100% do that, because you're going to save way more money. And then adding in like, an extra stick of DDR4 or 5 is only like $30-$40. So 100%, you can do that on your own whenever you want, and you're going to save way more money up front when you do that. So I'd go for, a laptop that has, a solid GPU if you really want to, get into gaming on a laptop, and then has upgradability for, adding in RAM slots, SSDs, things like that. Question number 9 comes from Old Arno is back, and he asks me, what is the Toasty Bros first PC specs? Now, I mean, honestly, I'm not too sure. That's been over 10 years ago, so who knows what they were building back then. I can't really know off the top of my head unless I asked them, but it's a little too late for that. And question number 10 comes from ACP not W87. I wish I could get your name right on, but I don't know if I did or not. So sorry about that in advance. They asked me a pretty simple question. Are you married? And I am not married yet, but I am dating. I've been dating someone for over 5, almost 6 years now. So the plan is not, to be going anywhere. That's pretty much the simplest answer I can give for that whole thing. But yeah, number 11 comes from Goody, and he asks me, can you do extreme overclocking? I'll help you plan out some videos. You can do a value 7900 XTX and a 7800 X3D extreme OC build. Honestly, I've only picked Jackson's brain on overclocking in, today's day and age. And overclocking, from what I've gathered, it can work, but you're basically, what you're doing whenever you overclock is you're basically stressing your components pretty much at like full load in almost all the time to achieve higher frame rates and stuff like that. So when you overclock things to the max at a PC business, obviously you're putting way more stress and, more wear on those components. So realistically, as a business, you don't want to, stress those components too much, more than what they're like out of the box made to do, because that could cause issues down the road and having to have a PC sent back to us and RMA things and get things warranty claimed and all that stuff. I don't see us doing any overclocking, and for the potential risk and, just the headache of doing that, I just don't think that they're going to be on board for that. So I do appreciate the recommendation, and I'll see if, that's something that interests them in the road. But yeah, for now, I think we're going to stick off overclocking. All right, I think question number 12 goes to Mooterfall, and he asked me, hey bro, I just wanted to ask, is there any tips you can give me for car photography? I mostly shoot nature and would love some advice on car photography. Honestly, I think nature photography is much harder to do than car photography, because realistically in nature, you have to really set up a composition, have to make like an overall good picture. Now with cars, you have just one obvious subject in the middle, so usually you have like one hunk of metal that you can just shoot at. So it's usually much easier to get a subject. For basic car photography knowledge, essentially there's, the staple shots is what I like to call them. Kind of the same thing for a PC. Usually for car photography, you want to like basically warm up. And this is what I do whenever I shoot photography, is I warm up with some basic shots. So your typical like front on view, like a head-on shot, of the front bumper. You have like the front quarter where you like have, car like kind of diagonally at you. You have the side shot, the rear quarter, the back shot. Those are all pretty much like the basic shots that you basically get going fully around the car. So I'd probably start off with those. Just get some cool details of the car. Like my biggest piece of advice for you is get your staple shots first, and then find some cool things and like intricacies and cool things about that specific car that will add to your set. And then posting on Instagram or like posting a full photo set, you want to get usually there's like 3 shots you want to get. You want to get the zoomed out shot, like a basic like staple shot. You'll get like a middle ground shot where there's, a little more closer with a little more detail. And then you'll get your like detail shot where you're like usually max zoomed in, really punched in on a specific item in the car or like on the body kit. All right, and second to last question is from Uber Pigeon, and Uber asked me, what made you get into videography? Now, like I mentioned in my last question, I was into photography for quite a while before I started at Toasty Bros, but I actually never did videography. I never even touched it before I started here, and that's something that's pretty interesting because, they hired a videographer with no videography skills at all. And again, if you look back at our older videos, I kind of sucked, I'll be honest. It was not easy, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I did like reels on Instagram and stuff like that with my phone and stuff, but shooting like video for a channel, that's a much different dynamic from just shooting like a car or something like that. They basically hired me to be a videographer without any experience because they wanted to kind of train me to be the videographer that they wanted. So I pretty much learned all my videography here at Toasty Bros whenever I started back in May. And since then, I've done more videography on my camera, my personal one outside of work too, and I've really gotten to like it. It is definitely a completely different learning curve from photography because, all you're doing is clicking the button. On photography, obviously setting up your composition and everything, but videography is a whole different game. Usually you only get one shot, and it can be a little more stressful. And the last question of this Q&A goes to Deformation. My last question for you is, how do you get your hair looking fire, with 3 fire emojis? So shout out Def. Honestly, it's my girlfriend of 6 years is a hairdresser, so she's pretty much got me on the product lines and everything I need to do to make sure this head of hair stays looking decent. So that is my cheat code. So it's products and taking care of your hair. So don't get the head and shoulders kind of stuff. You got to get the good stuff. So anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna wrap up this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end if you did. And if you enjoyed this video or have any other questions for me, maybe in the next one here in a couple weeks, leave them down in the comments below, or you can DM me directly if you head over to the Discord server, discord.gg/toastybros. I'm usually on the top right. You can just shoot me a quick DM, and I'll make sure I get it for the next video. So thanks again for watching to the end if you did, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.